welcome to Yoga 7. So we've almost made it to the end of the 2 weeks with our yoga practice, and today's yoga practice is dedicated a lot to the inner thighs. So some of what we've been doing in Pilates recently has been a lot of inner thigh work, which is brilliant for us obviously, and so now we're going to do a yoga practice that's a little bit more dedicated towards stretching that out. So it is not 100% that, but of course there's going to be an all over body, but the main focus is going to be inner thighs. Okay, so we will start sitting down, bringing the soles of the feet together, the knees wide, the heels in close. So we have started a practice like this before. Heels in as close as you can, hands are behind you, and just slowly reclining it back, come all the way down. And just release here for a moment. Let those knees be heavy. Let the hands rest either on the floor by your sides or resting them on the belly. So whatever variation you choose, the idea is to just tune into the breath, to pause for a little moment. So we come out of whatever's been happening in our day, in our week, and we come into the moment. So the breath is the ultimate practice in mindfulness. So it's very portable, we're doing it all the time, so we can practice mindfulness wherever we are, whenever we are. So we come back to that, watching the inhale, expand the body, feel the lightness, feel the breath flood the body. And the exhale releases and relaxes, lets everything calm down and settle. So we just really pay attention to the breath. And if the mind starts to wander, then gently draw it back to the breath once you notice. So this is something we can do whether we're sitting at our desk or whatever it is we're doing in our day. If we start to feel stress levels rising, we can just always come back to this breathing. Just pulls us out of the moment or out of whatever's crazy and pulls us in. Just being present with the simple. And once we've connected to the breath, so hopefully the waffle takes your mind off the inner thighs. Then we inhale to draw the knees back in. And exhale to hug the knees into the body. Just give yourself a little rock from side to side or circle the legs, so you're just creating that little bit of movement and starting to encourage some fluid and some flow into the joint. Circle the other direction if you're circling. Make them as big or as small. Make the rocks side to side as big or as small as you like. And then we come back to center. And we just take the knees a little wider, reach through, catch a hold of the pinky toe edges of the feet. Now from here, we inhale. Work on bringing the shins straight up and down. So what that might look like is more this. It might be further away. Just try to get that bend in the knees and either catch the thighs, bring those knees in towards the armpits, or catch the shins or the feet. Try to keep the tailbone on the ground. So you can get more into your lower back if you want to let that tailbone lift. But we're kind of trying to get a little bit more, obviously, inner thigh and hips here. Try to keep the shoulders down. So that's why if you are not quite able to reach the feet, I'd rather you keep the shoulders down and catch the legs somewhere else rather than hunch up to try and get the feet. And we take one more breath here. And then keeping that, just little rocks from side to side. I know it's not super elegant, but again, nobody's watching, presumably. And then we come back to center and rock back and forwards and then come all the way up to sitting. And so we bring the legs around in front and then crossing over at the ankles, rolling onto the hands and knees or coming around sideways, just however you get there. Hands are underneath the shoulders. We inhale to lift through the tailbone, travel the length of the spine until the crown of the head lifts. Exhale, tuck the tailbone. And then tuck the chin. Inhale to lift up. Lift, exhale. Curl it under. Good. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Then we inhale to come back to neutral. Tucking the feet. Bring the big toes together. Bring the knees together. So we keep the toes grounding. Press the hips towards the heels. And then we come up to resting. Hips on heels if you can. So try to keep all the toes on the ground. We haven't done this one a lot, and usually I put it into every class when I teach out there, so my apologies that I've been missing it. So we just breathe here. So again, if you do find that the soles of your feet are quite tight or the toes feel a little bit squished, then chances are pretty good that you probably need to do this a little more often. And we take 2 more deep breaths here. Relax the shoulders. It won't change the feet. It'll be okay. 1 more. And you made it. Then we inhale. Bring the hands out in front. And exhale, bring the feet flat to the ground. Sit back on those heels. So really working into the ankles a little bit today. So the hands are by the sides. And from there we lean back. So for some of us, just leaning back or even just sitting here like this is enough for the tops of the feet and the top of the ankles. But if you have the range, lift the knees and lean it back. So it depends on your body how far they will go. Remember, you don't have to look like mine does. And if you are steady and comfortable there, feel free to bring the hands together in front of the heart or keep the hands on the ground for support. So the idea is purely to open up the fronts of the ankles to get these joints moving a little more again. Just 3 more breaths here. 2, relax those shoulders. And last one, deep breath. So we inhale, slowly release. Good, and bring the hands out in front. Come up just enough so you can take the knees as wide as the mat, or just slightly wider than the hips. Press the hips back towards the heels. Walk the hands out. And actually engage with the arms. So rather than just being very passive here and just kind of flopping towards the floor, you're going to actively reach the hands forward. So you should feel a nice little length in those armpits and the upper arms. But really engage through the pelvis, so you're pulling the tailbone back. So hands pull the upper body forward, but the hips are pulling back. So you're creating that length through the body. You have 3 more deep breaths here. So as you sit in it a little longer, you'll probably find a little more space. So keep challenging the range. So once you come in for 1 breath, don't just kind of pause there. See if you can keep that pose alive and keep moving into it. 1 more. Good, and we inhale to come all the way up, coming up onto the hands and knees, tucking the toes, and from there exhale, we press it back, lift the hips high, and slowly walk the hands towards the feet. Grounding the feet, so hopefully they are about hip distance apart. Ground heels and toes. Take the thumbs to the elbows and just allow your body to hang there. So you're lifting up through the tailbone. Keep a little softening or bend in the knees. Crown of the head towards the ground. So you really want to keep the neck relaxed. So you're not cranking through the neck trying to look up or look out. You're just letting the top of the head hang down. 2 more breaths there. And last one. And then we release the hands. Inhale to walk the hands back out to a plank. So shoulders are over the wrists. Then exhale to press it back to down dog. We inhale to lift the right leg. And exhale, gently step the right foot in between the hands. Good, so from here, lower that left knee. We inhale, pull the hips back to extend the right leg, peel the right toes towards the shins. And exhale to fold forward. So it's still that same idea, the tailbone. So the same idea you had when you were in child's pose, rather. So tailbone pulls towards the back of the mat or the room, and the chest moves towards the front. Create that space through the body, even as you are working more into that hamstring. For 3 more deep breaths, or those hamstrings, rather. 2. Last one. Good, then we inhale, look up. Exhale to bend into that knee. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift that back knee. And exhale to walk the hands around to the side. So you're turning the feet as you come. So you're slightly pigeon-toed. The hands come underneath the shoulders. We inhale. And exhale to fold forward. So you can be quite engaged with this if you like. Walk the hands back a little further so you're actually drawing the body in. So the more you kind of grip the floor and pull the body in, you're getting a little bit more engagement there. Or you can be really strong and engaged through the core and use your core to draw you in. We take 3 more breaths here. Make sure the knees are soft. 2. Crown of the head towards the earth, so take any strain out of the neck. And 1 more. Then we inhale to walk the hands forward if they're not already. So it might be helpful here if you had like a cushion, or if you can't reach the floor, that is. So if you can't reach the floor comfortably, then grab something to bring the floor to you. So we're going to stay here for a little moment. We're bringing the left hand underneath the face, so bringing it more to the center. We inhale to lift the right arm high, and exhale, find the twist. So if you like, if you want to take this a little further, you can wrap the right arm around behind you, reach for the inside of that left hip or your shirt or the thigh. Now the trick here, once you're there, you may or may not have noticed that your left hip really dropped. We pick it back up again. So we want the twist from the navel or around the center of the body rather than from the hips. Looking over the right shoulder. Take 3 more breaths there. So you're trying to keep the weight more in the feet than on that bottom hand. So you're really lifting up and out. Heels. Slow, full breath. And 1 more. So then we lift the right hand high. And exhale, bring it down, replacing it where the left is. So now we inhale to lift the left arm. And exhale, so you can either keep the arm long or wrap the arm around if you like. And once you're there, pick up the right hip. So square the hips once more. Work the twist from around the navel rather than from the hips. Looking over your left shoulder. And 2 more breaths here. Last one. Then releasing the left hand, reaching up, bring that hand down. But then we inhale to walk the hands back towards that front foot. So turning the body, turning the feet. Then exhale, step it back, down dog. Could we take a deep breath in there? And a full breath out. Then we inhale, lift the left leg. And exhale, gently step that foot between the hands. Really hoik it through if it didn't make it first go. Lower the left knee to the ground. Inhale, draw the hips back, extend that front leg, pull the toes back. And exhale to fold. So you're really actively pulling back through the hips. Apologies, I'm having mic issues today. And moving forward from the ribs. 3 more breaths there. 2, the more you work the toes towards the shin, you'll get the calf muscles as well while you're here. And 1 more. And inhale, look up. Exhale, bend into that front knee. Round the foot. Inhale, tuck the toes, lift that back knee. And exhale, walk the hands around to the side. So you don't need to move, but I'm going to just turn around so my butt's not in your face. So still turning the toes slightly in, heels slightly out. We inhale. And exhale to fold. Now, if you like, from here, you can turn the hands so the fingers face the other direction and gently walk the hands through so you're even more engaged through the arms, pulling the upper body through. The top of your head moving towards the ground. If you do find that you are flexing enough and your head does touch the ground, then bring your legs a little bit closer together because you don't want to crunch the neck at all. You want to be able to let the head kind of hang free. Just take 2 more breaths here. And last one. And then we inhale, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. And then from here, we exhale, bend into the right knee, sink the hips towards the right heel. So you can keep the left toes on the ground or lift them off. Sink the hips towards the heel. Now, you may not have the range through the ankle, the knee, or the hips, so being here is okay. So the idea is to get into that right hip a teeny bit, but really get into those inner thighs. So as long as you're kind of feeling it in that left inner thigh, then don't panic too much about how low or high those hips are sitting. 3 more breaths. So you will shift where you feel it if you keep the toes on the ground, or if you lift the toes off the ground. 1 more here. Good, then we inhale to come up. And exhale to switch sides. Sink it down. And again, you can lift the toes or keep the toes on the ground. Don't worry about how high or otherwise you are off the ground. And just breathe into it. So as long as you are feeling it in that inner thigh. Just deep breath. So we just work with our own body and where it is on any given day. Just 2 more here. I did promise inner thighs, and that's where we're at. And 1 more. Good, then we inhale to come back to center. And then from there, we exhale, bend those knees so you can come all the way down onto the knees. So make sure you've got a reasonable amount of cushioning underneath the knees and the feet. This one, I'm not going to lie, it gets fairly uncomfortable for most people, so you want to have as much comfort as possible outside of the actual pose. So the knees are a 90-degree angle and the ankles are a 90-degree angle. So if you kind of look back to your feet, they look a little frog flippery. So go as wide as you can with the knees, come down onto the forearms, and because that's not quite funny enough yet, push the hips backwards towards the heels. So you'll probably feel your face scrunch or your face change and your expression change. That pretty much means you're in it. And if nothing changed, then you might want to push back a little further. So some people will feel this in their hips, some people inner thighs, most people inner thighs. And some people will feel it actually on the top of the hips. So if that's you, that's as far as you go. That's just compression of the bone on the bone, and it's not a damaging thing, but it also means you're not going to get any further. So we just breathe where we're at. Relax the shoulders and the face. Focus on the breath. So try to really slow it down. And if you're hating it, you're in good company. I don't know how many classes I've taught in 11 years of teaching yoga. I don't know how many thousand people I've taught, and I've still got less than 10 people like this pose. So if you're hating it, we all do.
unfortunately it's a really good one for us. So we stay here just a little longer. So keep trying to focus on the breath rather than the sensations. And we take 3 more breaths here. 2. And last one. Nice, so we inhale to come out, come all the way out, so hopefully you've got space, you can come down onto that belly, and then just kind of shake out the legs. Because that one, even coming out, can be a bit funky, so we just shake it off, unwind, do whatever feels kind of nice to release that. And then planting the feet, coming back up. Okay, so you're tucking the toes, and then walking it back around to that front foot. I think it's your left one. And then we step it back, take a down dog. So once you're in down dog, you can pedal it out a little, adjust and shimmy through those hips. Take one more deep breath in here, and a full breath out. Then we look to the hands and just gently walk the feet forward. Inhale, and exhale, fold. Good, inhale to lift all the way up, reach up, lift the heart, the hands and the gaze, and exhale, release the hands at the front of the mat. Okay, so make sure if you don't have fabulous balance that you've got a wall or something that you can put one hand on just to help you balance. So we are standing tall. We're going to bring the right knee into the chest. Now with this one, actually don't even bring the foot into the chest yet. If you can, reach a hand out in front, lift the leg and catch the foot without doing weird things and bending the knee. So if you're like this, yes, I've got my toe, that's not quite what we're after. So if this is what you've got, then cool. If not, grab a towel or a strap or a belt or something. So you can put that around the foot. So you're holding, so you've got the strap or the belt around the foot and hold on to that. Yeah, so we want the body long, lift up through the top of the head so that doesn't change. And then we lift the right knee in, catch the right foot, and then extend it out. So if you've got the strap or the belt, so you're just holding on to that. Push out through the heel. So try not to lean back. So don't worry about how high the leg goes. It's really not about that. 2 more breaths there. So one hand can be resting on the wall or a couch or something to give you more balance. We inhale. Now from here, keep the body long. Exhale, take the leg wide. So here, if it does get too much, so you're going as wide as you can without, again, tilting and doing strange things. If you like, you can keep the knee bent and just press out through the knee. So you're trying to keep the hips as square as you can. So it's not a twist of the body, it's taking the leg out. So whichever version works for you. Just 2 more breaths either way. And last one. So then we inhale, come back to center. And exhale, bend the knee and release that foot. Good. So other side. So either hook the foot with the band or whatever you have, or bring it in, catch the big toe, and we extend the leg out. Good, standing up tall, other hand to the hip. So keep the length through the spine, press down through that standing leg foot. So we get all caught up with the leg that we're lifting and we forget that this is the most important one, the one we're standing on. So really press it down, ground toes, ground heels. 2 more breaths here. And last one. Good, then we take it out wide. So bending that knee if you like, if that works better for you, feel free. 3 deep breaths, standing tall. 2. And last one. Good, then we inhale, come back to center, and exhale to release. Good, take them out. And we bring the feet back to about hip distance apart. So we inhale to lift up, and exhale to fold. Inhale halfway, then exhale, hands to the ground, and we step the left foot back, lower that left knee. And we inhale to lift the body, lift the arms, reach it up. And exhale, bring the hands together in front of the heart. I probably should have turned around for this. Exhale to twist it to your right. Hook the left elbow outside that right thigh. Press against the thigh to find that twist. Then we turn the gaze over the right shoulder. Sinking the hips forward. So 3 more breaths. Be really active in the pose. Press against that thigh. 2. Last one here. So then we inhale to come back to center. Okay, so you have actually 2 options here. So option 1 is to lift the hands high and take the hands shoulder width apart, turn the armpits towards each other, sink into those hips. Good, so that's option 1. If you want to go further and your knee is okay, so you're bending through the back knee, the right hand reaches forward, draw that left heel in towards the hip. Try to keep the chest facing forward though. And 4 breaths. So either way, we're really accessing the hip flexors and the quads on that front leg, the back leg, excuse me. So here is a little softer, a little more gentle. This one is going to make it a little bit more intense. And 2 more breaths either way. So it's just a slight little back bend, really. And 1 more. Good, then we inhale. Release the hands to the ground, so both hands to the ground, tucking those back toes. Exhale, step it forward. So we inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, step the right foot back and lower that right knee. Good, we inhale to lift the body, lift the arms. Just check that that front foot is further forward than the knee. Exhale, hands to the heart and twist it to the left. So you're hooking that elbow if you can, or the upper arm. Working the chest towards the thumbs towards the center of the chest. Looking over the left shoulder. Sink the hips forward, so you're already starting to get into those hip flexors. 3. 2. Last one here. Good, then we inhale. Come back to center and either lifting the hands high, coming to center, sink those hips forward. So this option, if you did the other side, then bend that back knee, draw the heel in towards the hips. So the chest is still forward, pull the foot in towards you. 4 more breaths here. So it's just a slight little arch, nothing too dramatic. So not going for a massive back bend here. Just starting to gently open the front of the body. 2 more breaths. Last one. So then we inhale, release it. Release the hands down. Good, and this time we exhale, tuck the back toes, and step it forward. Good, inhale. Then exhale, bend the knees, lift the heels, sink the hips towards the heels. Good, and then coming all the way down onto the ground. Good, so the legs are out long. And if you did require a strap or a band for the balancing, then you're going to want to keep that handy now. So we inhale to sit up tall, and exhale to roll it down slowly, slowly. Good, so from here, we inhale, bring the right knee into the chest. And again, so you can grab your band, your belt, whatever it is, hook it around the right foot, then work on extending the leg. If you can reach the foot or the toes, then catch a hold. Try to keep that left leg long.
So the more we bring that right leg in, the more the pelvis will try to tilt and you'll get a bit of this happening. So really push through that left heel as best you can. Draw the right leg in towards you. And just 4 more breaths here. 3. So long through the legs. 2. Push through both heels, so try not to knee yourself in the face. If that's about to happen, chances are your knee's a little bit too bent. 1 more. Really inhale. Then exhale, take that leg wide. So just like we did when we were standing, so the ground is giving you a really nice indicator of how much you're rolling the hips. So it's quite tempting to try and get that leg to the ground and lifting this left hip. We're going to try and keep it pressing down as you take the leg wide. So you truly get that inner thigh rather than just a tilt through the pelvis. 3 more breaths here. Grounding that left hip. 2. Last one here. Then we inhale to come back to center. And exhale to bend that knee, release the band or the belts, and then release the leg. Good, so we bring in the left leg, inhale, catch the foot, use the belts or whatever you need, push through the heels, right leg is out long, bring that left leg in towards the body. We're really mindful of that bottom leg, so there's almost as much energy and attention in that leg that's on the mat as there is in the leg that you're drawing towards the body. 3 more breaths here. Push through the heel. Extend. So actually if you activate those quads a little, like pull the kneecap towards the body, really try to extend the leg, then you can help to release the hamstrings a little more. 1 more breath here. Reciprocal inhibition. We inhale, ground that right hip. Exhale, take the left leg out as wide as we can before that right hip wants to lift off. So if you feel it coming off the ground, then you'll know you're rolling rather than doing inner thigh. 4 more breaths here. 3. 2. Keep the breath full. 1 more. Then we inhale, come back to center. Exhale to hug that knee in. And then releasing everything, release the legs, release the body, shimmy through the hips if you like. Make any other little movements you need, any stretches, any shifts. And then if you can, give yourself those moments of Shavasana, that relaxation time. So thank you very much for playing yoga number 7, inner thighs. They will thank you for it. Well done.